I have always been fascinated by the paranormal, so when I heard about an abandoned asylum that was rumored to be haunted, I decided to check it out. I convinced my friend Jake to come with me, and we drove to the location on a dark and stormy night. The asylum was a huge, imposing building that looked like it had been left to rot for decades. The windows were boarded up, the walls were covered in graffiti, and the gate was locked. We had to climb over the fence and sneak in through a broken window. We brought flashlights, cameras, and a voice recorder to document our exploration. We hoped to capture some evidence of ghosts or spirits, or at least have some fun. We were wrong. As soon as we entered the asylum, we felt a cold chill in the air. The place was silent except for the occasional creaking of the floorboards or the dripping of water. We walked through the dark corridors, shining our flashlights on the decaying rooms. We saw old beds, wheelchairs, medical equipment, and even some bloodstains on the walls. We tried to communicate with any spirits that might be present, but we got no response. We thought maybe the place was not as haunted as we had hoped. We decided to split up and explore different parts of the asylum. That was a big mistake. I went to the basement where I heard there was a morgue and a crematorium. I thought maybe I would find something interesting there. I was wrong. As soon as I reached the bottom of the stairs, I felt a sudden surge of fear. The basement was pitch black, and I could barely see anything with my flashlight. I heard a loud bang behind me, and I turned around to see that the door had slammed shut. I tried to open it, but it was locked. I panicked and started banging on the door, shouting for Jake to help me, but he did not answer. I realized that he probably could not hear me from upstairs. I decided to look for another way out. I walked through the basement, hoping to find a window or a vent, but all I found were more horrors. I saw rows of metal tables with corpses on them. Some of them were covered with sheets, but others were exposed. They looked like they had been tortured or experimented on. Some had missing limbs, others had wires attached to their heads, and others had strange symbols carved into their skin. I felt sick and wanted to vomit. I wondered how long these bodies had been here and who had done this to them. I also wondered if they were really dead or if they would suddenly come to life and attack me. I ran away from the morgue and entered the crematorium. There I saw a large furnace with a pile of ashes next to it. There were also some bones and skulls that had not been burned completely. I felt a blast of heat from the furnace, and I realized that it was still on. I wondered who had turned it on and why. Was someone trying to burn the evidence of their crimes, or was there something more sinister going on? I heard a loud scream from behind me. And I turned around to see a horrifying sight. It was Jake, but he looked different. His eyes were wide open and bloodshot. His mouth was twisted into a grin, and his skin was pale and covered in cuts. He held a knife in his hand, and he was laughing maniacally. He said something that chilled me to the bone. "Welcome to hell." He lunged at me with the knife, trying to stab me in the chest. I dodged his attack and pushed him away. He stumbled back and fell into the furnace. He screamed in agony as he burned alive. I watched in horror as his flesh melted off his bones. He kept laughing until he stopped moving. I did not know what had happened to him. Had he gone insane? Had he been possessed by a demon? Had he been working with whoever had killed those people? I did not care. I just wanted to get out of there. I ran back to the door and tried to open it again. To my relief, it was unlocked this time. I opened it and ran upstairs. I did not stop running until I reached my car. I got in and drove away as fast as I could. I never went back to that asylum again. I still do not know what happened there that night. But sometimes, when I close my eyes, I can still hear Jake's voice. Welcome to hell.